Hello, babes. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new, welcome. So I wanted to talk about this episode of Sex in the City that has always infuriated me. And it wasn't until I recently rewatched season 6 that I said I have got to talk about this episode. I also have a cold, so if I break up or my voice sounds different, it's because of that. So let's get into it. Welcome to Iconically Iconic. The episode opens up with Carrie shopping gifts for friends and a gift for Kyra. Now, while Carrie is not without flaw and a character that annoys me to say the least, one thing about Miss Bradshaw, she never showed up empty-handed. And she wasn't cheap either. We saw the Louis bag she gave her assistant. We can say what we want about Carrie, but she valued the art of gift giving. Something that I take pride in, and I love giving gifts, so I really appreciate someone who is the same. Anyways, when Carrie arrives at Kyra's home, she's met by a guest who informs Carrie that no shoes are allowed inside. A rule I agree with.
The gifts go over on the table and the shoes go there. Oh, Kyra and Chuck don't like outside dirt coming in. The twins are always picking things up off the floor.
Fair enough. Outside shoes are unsanitary, and just the thought of having that muck travel in your home is just yucky to me. But here's the thing. If you're going to enforce a no shoes rule, you need to have systems in place. Shoe cubbies at the door, shoe covers for guests who may not want to walk barefoot, or even clean socks and slippers to offer, because you never want to make your guests feel uncomfortable. They're coming to your home, so you should make them feel welcomed and comfortable. Instead, Kyra's entrance has a chaotic pile of shoes thrown about, which is setting the scene for an inevitable disaster. Now, I will say this. Carrie should have insisted on keeping her sparkly new Manolos in her hand, or at least asked for a bag for her to place them in and hold. Because some people lack decorum, tact, and basic respect for other people's belongings, especially a shiny brand new pair of Manolos. And stealing someone's shoes, that's not tacky, that's just downright nasty. Imagine putting your feet in a complete stranger's shoes. In the words of Glorilla. Fast forward to the party, Carrie is mingling and enjoying herself until it's time to leave. She's looking for her shoes and they're gone. Instead of Carrie completely losing it, which would have been 100% valid, she calmly tells Kyra, whose reaction is maddening. Kyra brushes it off and suggests someone named Jennifer may have accidentally taken them.
You know, Jennifer was wearing sandals. Perhaps she took yours by mistake.
Well, actually, they weren't sandals. They were Manolos.
I am sure they'll turn up. I can loan you some shoes to go home in.
Accidentally? How does one mistake a pair of sparkly Manolo Blahniks for Old Navy flip-flops? I don't know if they were from Old Navy, but girl, don't try to play in my face. This is when I started side-eyeing Kyra, because any friend would have helped you look for your shoes and even called up the people who attended the party to see if there was a mix-up. Now, personally, I think she stole the shoes or had someone stash them away in her home. Her indifference was too suspicious. Later, Carrie vents to the girls about her missing shoes. Samantha, there are some places children simply do not belong. While harsh, her point about chaos in certain environments is true, especially when people are going out for a meal and to enjoy that time, and you have your children running all about and you have zero control over them. When Carrie goes back to Kyra's home to ask if the shoes have turned up, Kyra doubles down on her smug attitude. Not only does she fail to apologize, but she also launches into a patronizing speech about how she doesn't understand spending $500 on shoes because she has a quote-unquote. First of all, let's unpack that. Yes, Carrie's financial choices were indeed questionable, but she wasn't out here with children to feed or a family to support. Her money was hers to spend however she pleased. And what I didn't appreciate was Kyra's condescending tone. Carrie didn't owe her any explanation or try to justify why she was purchasing $500 Manolos. You don't pay for them. She didn't ask you for the money. She asked you for reimbursement money, and actually she didn't even ask you for that. She didn't owe her an explanation as to what and how she spent her money. Her attempt to shame her for her single, carefree lifestyle was petty and was laced with envy. And this is a pattern many single women deal with when encountering some married women. A lot of married with children women tend to project their dissatisfaction onto their single friends. Kyra's bitterness was evident, and she clearly resented seeing Carrie live a life she probably once enjoyed and couldn't anymore. Kyra offers to pay Carrie $200 as partial reimbursement, but quickly retracts it, claiming she shouldn't have to pay for Carrie's lifestyle. Excuse me? How does reimbursing someone for an item lost in your home equate to funding their lifestyle? Like, I know she just had to have lost her mind this day, because there was no way that those words came out of her mouth after her shoes were lost in her home. Girl, you better run me my money. This was the moment Carrie should have gathered her with a simple girl. Did you take them in using the no shoe policy as a way to spot whose shoes you'll be taking next? No one will ever convince me Kyra didn't orchestrate the theft of the shoes. I think she assumed that Carrie would have forgotten about them because she had so many pairs and is always shopping, but Carrie stayed on her neck as she should have. The whole situation just screamed jealousy and resentment. So I won't be covering every scene in this episode, but there are a few standout moments that deserve attention, starting with Miranda meeting the oh-so fine and dapper Robert, played by the gorgeous Blair Underwood. Now let me say this, Miranda and Robert were far better suited than Miranda and Steve. With Robert, Miranda seemed lighter, happier, and less burdened. She didn't have to worry about outshining him, and he matched her ambition and intellect. Unlike Steve, who always felt like a mismatched puzzle piece, Robert was just on her level in every way. But as with many of Miranda's relationships, she sabotaged it, likely because she didn't feel worthy of love or didn't know how to fully embrace it. Next, we have Harry leaving his tea bags all over the house. Now, I'm sorry, but this would have been an immediate conversation. A grown man leaving tea bags everywhere like a toddler? Absolutely not. It was inconsiderate, nasty, and just plain laziness. You live here, and even if you were outside, I would hope you don't just throw a tea bag on the ground. But what I appreciated about this scene was Harry's response.
Tea bags. You leave them all over the house and well, they stain, and maybe you could just try to be a little more careful.
Damn, I thought I was doing so well, too.
What do you mean?
Well, I've been really trying to watch my ass, now that I'm living in your house.
It's our house now. I want you to be yourself.
Yeah, well, myself is pretty much a bull in a china shop.
And then you're bull in our china shop.
He didn't make Charlotte feel like she was nagging or being overdramatic. Instead, he respected her, listened, and realized this was just a bad habit he didn't notice, and it showed the importance of communication. That moment also showcased why Harry and Charlotte worked so well together. He was willing to grow and adapt for her, and vice versa. Now on to that outrageous scene where that little gremlin Chucky Seed throws pesto on Samantha.
I understand that your child and I have to coexist in this city, but perhaps you could take him somewhere more appropriate for a happy meal, so I could have a happier one.
Seamus, that wasn't very nice.
Well,
let me tell you something. Samantha had the patience of a saint in this scene, because his mother, we would have had to have a conversation. Mothers like that are so problematic. They enable their children's bad behavior. Teachers had to put up with these type of students' bad behavior. And when it's their sons, they treat them like surrogate husbands when they reach a certain age. They're always overly invested in their sons' lives. The toxic boy mom. It's why their grown sons act like entitled children. So we come to the final scene. After Kyra refuses to reimburse Carrie for the stolen Manolos and doubles down on her bitter, judgmental attitude, Carrie had enough of her nonsense and decides to flip the narrative on Kyra. Since you think a single woman shouldn't spend her money how she sees fit, then I shall marry myself. Here's the registry, girl. You know what to do.
Hi, it's Carrie Bradshaw. I wanted to let you know that I'm getting married to myself. Oh, and I'm registered at Manolo Blahnik. So thanks. Bye.
And I loved this moment. Carrie didn't let Kyra's bitterness make her feel ashamed or undeserving. Instead, she stood her ground, reclaiming her autonomy in the most Carrie way possible. And she was 100% right, and no one can convince me otherwise, period. You know, so many times things like this break up friendships, and it's not like Kyra and Carrie were the closest of friends, but it showed Kyra's character. She lacked any kind of empathy or remorse for the situation, and I truly believe she wasn't going to pay Carrie back. I think her pulling out her checkbook was a manipulation tactic, and she thought Carrie was going to reject it. But when Carrie told her how much the shoes were, which again, she knew the price because she was an avid buyer at one point, she tried to get over it, and instead she played herself. Is it worth losing a friendship over something materialistic? No. But your attitude towards something when something happens, like her shoes going missing in her house, you didn't say, oh my God, your shoes are missing. Okay, we'll figure this out. If it's okay with you, I'll pay you $200 now and I'll pay you $200 later on, or come up with a payment plan. No, it was just, I don't think I should pay for your shoes because this is your lifestyle and not mine. Okay, girl, well, I came to your house and my shoes went missing because of one of your raggedy friends. So Carrie did what she needed to do in this situation, and I was 100% on her side. And with that being said, this video has come to an end. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. Also, make sure your notification bells are turned on so that you always know when I upload. Also, let me know which episode of Sex and the City you would like me to break down next. And I will catch you guys in the next one.